Have you ever noticed how certain exes magically reappear at the worst, or maybe in the best possible times? Or how an old desire, an old fantasy, an old what if suddenly feels alive again? That is Venus retrograde, the cosmic rewind that makes you revisit old love stories, reopen unfinished chapters, and rethink what your heart actually wants. Okay, contrary to popular belief, exes coming back can be a really good thing, either because it could mean a rehash, but more likely and more importantly, it's a lesson or maybe even a closing that can help you move on. Really. All right. So, in this video, we are going to discuss everything related to Venus retrograde and what it has to say about your love life. So, if you want to know more, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new around here, hi, hello, and welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer and sound therapist, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you're new, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So, no long intro this time. We're about to talk about Venus retrograde and everything that it means for your love life. All right. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. So, of course, to begin, I'd like you to think about and meditate on this core idea. Venus retrograde brings you back to what is unresolved. So you can redefine desire from a place of clarity instead of confusion. Venus rules love, attraction, pleasure, values, beauty, and our relationship with receiving. When Venus moves backward, aka when Venus is retrograde, your heart does too, not to regress, but to review. Just because Venus is going retrograde and going backward doesn't mean that you have to. And so if something from the past reemerges during a Venus retrograde, it's not for you to throw up your hands and say, oh my gosh, this is happening again. It's literally the universe giving you a neon sign that says, this is what we are fixing now. This is what we're focusing now. So you can either end it with clarity, you can continue it with clarity, or maybe even do a little bit of both, right? I mean, if you are familiar with any of my videos, if you've been around for a while, you'll know that I always say that retrogrades are not the dumpster fire that society makes them out to be. They're actually a really amazing gift from the universe. You get a redo. And in the realm of Venus retrograde, you get a redo in love, right? Who wouldn't want that? So now let's talk about what Venus retrograde really means in love. So, old patterns resurface, old lovers return, either physically or energetically. Understand this well, physically or energetically. It could literally be the same person, or it could literally be the same energy in a different person. Either or, same thing. Old wounds ask for closure, old desires get reevaluated, and old fantasies lose their power. Venus retrograde isn't about going back. It's about understanding why you were drawn there in the first place. That's why I say retrogrades are such an amazing gift from the universe because they get you to understand why you did what you did. You're sitting there focused on why this ex was a bum or why they were so wrong. But Venus retrograde shows you, well, what attracted them to you in the first place or what attracted you to them? Food for thought, right? The thing that we need to ultimately remember in relationships is that they are a mirror. They show us us. And before you want to place the blame on your ex, on a current partner, or anyone outside of you, you need to look at yourself because this person is literally just mirroring a part of you to you. And sometimes that can be really hard to understand because maybe this person is, God forbid, abusing you, or there's some really traumatic things going on in the relationship. It's not to say that you are at fault, but I will say that they are showing an aspect of you to you. Take that as you will. But when someone comes back around during Venus retrograde, the universe is like, see, you drew this person is because you drew this person in because this was the type of time you were on when you met them. This is what you were doing. This is what you valued at that time. Very important information for self reflection and personal development. Because if relationships are a mirror, when we improve, our relationships improve. And Venus retrograde can play a very integral part in that. Okay. So here's the real deal on why exes come back. And I want you to listen up for this because this is important. It could be a situation where both of you have unfinished emotional business with each other so that you can either get back together or move on from each other. When you have unfinished emotional business, it can be very hard to bring someone new into the mix because it's almost like that old person is still there energetically. Venus retrograde helps you see that so you can eradicate that. It could be a lesson you skipped. And here's the thing about the universe ain't gonna let you skip shit, especially in relationships. If this person is in your life to teach you something and you sidestep the lesson, oh, they're gonna come back until you learn that shit. Keep in mind, they could come back physically, it could be the same person, or that lesson in a new person. It's like you're trying to move on from that ex that did you dirty and you keep meeting people that treat you the same way. Baby, you have a lesson to learn. So learn it so that you won't keep attracting that same thing over and over again. A pattern you're ready to break. Self explanatory and kind of feeds into what I was just saying before. When it's time to get off the merry-go-round, universe is going to bring you someone to help you break that cycle. Now, here's one that people often overlook: mutual nostalgia. I will be completely honest with you. I have been someone who's fed into that during Venus retrograde. I have been the ex that comes back, but not not to rekindle anything, but because like I suddenly miss that person. And I used to shame myself for that because I was like, why am I still thinking of this person? We've been done for years or whatever. But mutual nostalgia is really a thing. And Venus retrograde will definitely ignite that. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to reach out to your exes to see how they're doing or whatever, right? I mean, if you have ulterior motives for that, that's a different story. But mutual nostalgia, there's nothing wrong with that. Also, exes can come back to kind of test your growth. And I put test in air quotes because I don't think the universe tests you, but the universe will show you how you have grown by bringing an ex back and showing you that, yeah, I don't like this anymore, or I don't value this in relationships anymore. It can be a testament to your growth. I like that better. And then there are times where exes come back to reunite. Yes, sometimes exes come back because maybe it's almost like in this journey of life, we're all like, you're in a partnership and y'all are going through life together, but sometimes y'all have side quests that you got to do alone and you break up for whatever reason. Venus retrograde is like, all right, side quest done. Now it's back to our regularly scheduled program. That is a thing. Don't downplay that either because people can change. They really can. And if you've been working on yourself and they've been working on themselves, now you can come back together as your evolved selves. And that's always a beautiful thing. And then sometimes exes return to release you. Sort of speaks to the unfinished business I talked about before. When you wrap that up, you're now done. And that opens up space for new energy and a new person. So keep that in mind. Now, Venus retrograde also, and importantly, redefines desire. Venus retrograde shifts how you experience attraction, pleasure, chemistry, your standards, what you accept versus what you reject, and your self worth. Desires you used to chase may lose their luster. Things you used to ignore suddenly matter or turn you on now. Venus retrograde shows you the difference between what you wanted then and who you are now. Point blank, period. Now, let's briefly talk about Venus retrograde by sign. And this is sort of the theme of your review. So, if you're experiencing a Venus retrograde in a fire sign, this has a lot to do with the desire, passion, courage, and self expression. If you're experiencing Venus retrograde in an earth sign, this is about stability, security, values, and worth. Venus retrograde in an air sign, this is about communication, truth, choice, and clarity. And Venus retrograde in a water sign, it's about intimacy, vulnerability, and emotional honesty. Now, I just want to give you some logistics on Venus retrograde. We don't experience a Venus retrograde every year. As a matter of fact, Venus retrogrades every 18 months. So every year and a half, we have a Venus retrograde. So at the time that I'm filming this, it is November 2025. Back in, I believe it was February or March of this year, we had Venus retrograde. And Venus will not go retrograde again until the fall of 2026. So you've got some time with this Venus retrograde. So I want you to, I don't want you to think that this is something that happens, especially if you're new to astrology, that happens as frequently as, let's say, like a Mercury retrograde. It's definitely 18 months when Venus, it's every 18 months that Venus goes retrograde. So I just wanted to put that out there. Okay. And if Venus retrograde touches your natal Venus, your natal moon, or if it's happening in your natal seventh house, oh, those lessons are going to be super deep and they're going to be very relationship oriented. All right. So definitely keep that in mind. But either way, Venus retrograde, it gives us a do over in love. And who doesn't need that every so often? So use it for that purpose and stop villainizing your ex when they come back around. They are here to show you something profound. So accept it and receive it. So let's pause right now for a moment of reflection and self inquiry. So here's your reflection for today. Who or what from your past still holds emotional weight? And what truth is Venus retrograde trying to show you about it? Now, clearly, we're not in a Venus retrograde right now. So you may want to save this and revisit this video the next time we are experiencing a Venus retrograde. However, this reflection can really be great on any day because if someone still has an emotional hold on you and they hold emotional weight in your life, it definitely bears reflecting on. Okay. Retrograde says it's time to choose from awareness, not attachment. So spend some time thinking, reflecting, and journaling that today. With Venus being the star of the show when it comes to relationships, you really should be very crystal clear on your Venus and how you show up in relationships. And to do so, you may want to consider taking my free seduction style quiz. It's a cute little quiz that asks you some questions that helps you ascertain your relationship blueprint. Okay. It's fun. Plus, you get a nice little PDF guide along with it. All right. So if you're interested in this free quiz, the link is in the description box below. And if you want to know more about your particular Venus and maybe even what to expect during the next Venus retrograde, then you'll want to sign up for my signature natal chart experience, The Blueprint. During the 60-minute live reading, I will read your natal chart from soup to nuts, and I'll tell you everything about your relationship story, how you show up in relationships, and what you need in relationships. Okay, it's jam packed with information. And apart from the live reading, you get a private online client portal where you'll have access to resources. Plus, you get a 30-day alignment map so that post reading, you know exactly what the energy is going to be like and how to best work with it. So, if you're interested in the blueprint, the first step is to book a free 15-minute clarity call so we can discuss whether the blueprint is right for you and if so, how to get started. So, if you're interested in that, the link to that clarity call will be in the description box below. And if you want something a little lighter, you want some more information, but not necessarily as serious as a natal chart reading, then join me over in Cosmic Collective, which is my online private community where I go live every Friday to discuss these topics more in depth, do case studies with celebrity charts, and give you time to ask as many questions as you like, including questions on your particular natal chart. Plus, you get access to exclusive content and you get a community of like minded individuals who are also ready, willing, and able to learn astrology right alongside with you. So if you're interested, you can either scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, or you can hit up the link in the description box below. I look very forward to seeing you over on that side of things. All right, my loves, that's pretty much all I've got for you for this video on Venus retrograde and what it could show you about the lessons that you need to learn, perhaps, and the ability that you have to redo your love life, essentially. I absolutely love Venus retrograde for that, right? And so, yeah, use it for that. Like, seriously, don't sleep on Venus retrograde. It could really turn your love life around. So look out for the next one. And again, that's happening in mid to late 2026. So keep an eye out for that. All right. So join me tomorrow where we will enter a new week of this 30-day love and astrology series where we're going to be talking about attraction, breakups, and growth in relationships. You definitely don't want to miss that. And I'm so excited because we're almost done with this series, which is a lot. But again, this is meant to be a whole library on love and astrology topics that you can peruse at your convenience. All right. But we're definitely making our way through the series, and I love that for us. All right, my love. So hopefully you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you could use going forward to better your love life. All right. So comment, subscribe, set notifications, like, share, all that good stuff, especially if you found value in this video or in any of my other videos for that matter. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.